Hi everybody, this is Rob Hildebrand from the Chateau de la Grifferaie. Man, it's November. So much has happened. Guys, trouble has found us. There is stuff going on. And we have a ton of announcements, huge announcements in our life, especially if you've been following along. Now, if you haven't been following along, my wife and I, Leslie, bought a chateau a few years ago. We're running a non-profit organization, extremely fun ministry. Now, anyone that has bought a chateau knows that it is a lot of work and there are difficulties. The chateau works against you, nature works against you. There's been huge storms in France and honestly a few storms in our own personal life too. So we'll get to that in a minute. The truth is, folks, nothing of consequence in life is accomplished without effort. And honestly, nothing of consequence's life is accomplished without pushing through difficulties. And so we've got a few of those in front of us and we'll talk about it, but we're very hopeful. So pay attention, watch the video, and I'm gonna talk, we'll take it in sections. Okay, first, let's start with a little bit of good news. Leslie is not here. Leslie and Amy got on a plane and they flew to France and they have arrived in France. Now, they've already started shooting video and we're gonna do 25 Days of Christmas, Rob and Leslie's French Advent 2023. And so that's going to be fun. We're already lots of good content in the can already for that. But they're there. They're safely there. That's really good because I woke up in the middle of the night, like 4 a.m. our time, you know, making sure it was okay. Because, now here's the trouble starts. We had some things happen. First of all, there was a storm. There was apparently a storm of historic proportions. Like somebody was saying 100 kilometers an hour wind. Somebody said 200, but I can't believe that. And we could see on the cameras that there were shingles that had come off the roof and we didn't know the full extent of what was going on. So we were very nervous how much water would be in the attics. It had been at least a month since those had been changed. And then I got a letter from the roofers, our very good roofers, doing a killer job, by the way. And they said, we can't get to the house because trees have fallen over the lane. In fact, more than one, big trees. And so they couldn't get in. They couldn't move stuff in. So we're like, problem. That's problem number one. Problem number two, we also had a letter earlier from the roofer saying, yes, we're up. They've come around the whole front and they're going onto the side into the valley. And as they got there, they realized that the cupola, the beautiful cupola, the cupola that I love, do you know what I'm talking about? This cupola, here's some shots of it over the years. See if I can find a close-up as the sirens go by. We're in Portland, Oregon, of course, and I'm sitting in front of the faculty and residence house that Multnomah has been so good to give us over the years. So yeah, back to the cupola. The cupola, they got up there, they took a close look and they said, the cupola is gonna fall. They said, we're really scared to go next to it because if our big machine hits it, it's gonna, and who knows, if it falls, what happens, right? It could fall right through the roof, get through the ceiling. I mean, it could be really, really expensive. You might also remember that it's not easy to insure a chateau. You go to insurance agencies, they don't want to cover it because they say that's worth 6, 7, 8 million to replace. And so the price would be phenomenal. Plus there's so many things that can go wrong. They don't want to touch it. I write them, they don't write back. So, you know, we're living on faith. Are we going to be okay? I don't know. So far, God's been so good to us. You know, I've been working at Multnomah for almost 20 years now, and they continue to pay me while I teach, and we use that money to subsidize our efforts over in France, and it's been wonderful. They gave us this faculty residence house to stay in for free while I'm teaching, so we can care for the students. It's been such a gift. It's in jeopardy. More on that later. But back to the cupola. So the cupola, so they said, what are we going to do? They go, what can we do? I said, can you try to find someone to fix it? We love it. It's a huge part of the beauty of the chateau. Is there a way we could get a guy there? And he's looking at it. He's like, I don't know. And I said, I'm like, please don't destroy it. Like, don't like dismantle it, because we love it. At the very least, we want to bring it down so that we can eventually copy it and put another one on the other side. There used to be two, right? One's already been taken down. And so they took a look at it, and again, here's, if I haven't shown it already, and here's another look at the clips. As they got close to it, they said, man, the supports are wood, and they're fragile. In fact, one of them was already gone. So they're very worried that the wood was gonna, like, over time, wood degrades, right? And so the whole thing's gonna come down. So I said, please, if, you know, I'd love you to fix it, but if you can't fix it, at the very least save it so that we can rebuild it and then put it back up someday and have its twin match, because it's a beautiful part of the chateau. So went to sleep, nervous nights, of course, these days. Got an email back from the roofer and they were able to save it. Apparently Manon, way to go Manon, she got the big forklift thing up there, and they were able to tie it on, and they cut it across the bottom. They brought the whole thing down. I really wish I had video of this. I don't, because we're not there. We were not there at the time. And they brought it down, and it's intact on the ground. So we're going to take measurements. We'll take close-up videos. We'll rebuild that as soon as, if we can ever afford it, we'll rebuild that thing and put it back up.
So I was on the way to get groceries, but I have to stop and see this because it is so cool. We can see this in person. Okay, so this is fantastic. Look how cute it was. Oh, it's definitely wiggly. Look at these cute little things too. So awesome. So it's quite tall, bigger than me. That's for sure. Wow, it is rickety. Wow, I am so grateful it stayed up there. Oh, there's a piece that already fell out. Oh, yikes. Okay, well, it is in need, isn't it? Oh, and look at that. Wow. Well, I think we caught it in the nick of time. Isn't that interesting? Cool. Well, we're on the hunt for a carpenter that can remake this for us, so that hopefully we can get a new one made. So fun.
Then we got another email from one of our very nice neighbors. We have great neighbors in Eshmere. It's a beautiful town, lovely people, and very kind to us. And so one of our neighbors wrote, and he said, hey, the stables, which perhaps you remember our stables, I'll try to show some pictures here. It's beautiful but old, and the roof has been very bad, and we knew it was bad, but we didn't know how bad. And he said, your roof is completely falling in on this. And he said, and he goes, we're concerned because our part of the building is theirs and part is ours. Now, this is new to North Americans. We're not used to sharing buildings. So, and of course there's a responsibility. Then you have a responsibility to your neighbor. And so we were thinking we can't afford it. This is just gonna have to wait. If we have to rebuild the roof, we rebuild the roof. But given the fact that we share this building with them, we have, I think, a responsibility to take care of it. And so he says, if you can't fix it, could you at least tarp it? So, you know, I probably have already put pictures up for you to look at, but the roof is in bad shape. Like, you can see for some reason, and whoever put this on, bless your heart, but this was crazy. They put like particle board up there, which disintegrates with water. So if you look closely, you can see between each rafter, the wood is sagging. And in some places it's completely fallen out. The shingles are off and it's just open sky. So water is hitting the boards, water is getting into the house. It's very disturbing. I wrote the roofers to ask how much would it be just to tarp it, because I don't think we can afford to fix it right now. And they have not gotten back to me with the price. But I will be going out as soon as I finish teaching, in a few weeks here. I'll get out there and I'll at the very least get a tarp on it.
Stable building, which I think is fantastic. But every time I'm here, I see more glass panes out and more openings that need to get shut again. However, here we are. It's going to be amazing when we're done. But this is the roof. Trying to get a better view for you guys. If you can see it. Let's see if I can zoom in. Give you guys a bit of an idea of it and what it was in general. Many of these have some issues. Over there is where it majorly fell in just recently. Oof, doesn't look good at all. Can you see? Yeah, it's a problem. So, and there, I'll zoom out again so you can see a bit over there. That's the trouble spot, and I think there's another one as well. I'll see if I can go inside and let you see it from the bottom. And yeah, I think you can see there how it has fallen through, and that would be it. It's very wet. There we go. It's a very big hole. And it has been raining a lot. Amazing old beams in here though, that's for sure. There you can see where the bright light is shining. On the other side, how there is another very large hole in the roof. And that's the other spot, and it looks bigger than it was in the summer. Frightening. Anyways, I wish I could get up there right now, but I don't think that's my skill set. Anyways, I hope that helps, and it helps you see a bit of the structure of the roof and the ceiling.
Now, some good news here. Some good news. Well, let's bring the good news at the end. Okay, let's bring the good news at the end. So we had the trees falling across the path. We had the cupola destroyed. We had the rainstorm. I already said that with the trees, maybe damage. And then, of course, this problem with the stables roof. So the problems are starting to mount up. The Chateau works against you when you have a Chateau. Okay, but that was not the extent of our problems. In fact, our biggest problems were not physical problems with the Chateau. The first problem, we've gotten some letters from, you know, our life is weird, and so sometimes the tax guys rate us. And we have declared that we're going to be residents in France next year. We're going to spend most of the year. That means we're going to have to pay income tax, which is fine. Also means, though, you don't have to pay one of the taxes, the taxe habitation. Did I say that right? And so that's good, but unfortunately, they didn't get the memo apparently, and so they sent us a $3,500 bill for that. We got to clear up. The city of Portland sent us a note saying, hey, you're doing business in Portland, you need to pay Portland taxes. And I thought to myself, I don't think we are paying taxes in Portland, or I don't think we are actually working in Portland other than at the university. So I'm like, and then of course the IRS is always complicated with nonprofits. So there's a number of things there we're trying to sort out. But then the biggest problem, the biggest one. Now, Multnomah has been wonderful to me. This has been a great school. I'm going to show you some shots of the campus. It's beautiful this time of year. We have wonderful students. School's been around for maybe 80, 85, maybe 90 years, somewhere around there, and has done some really great things, has produced some wonderful alumni. It's a Christian school. It's a school that was started by folks that, you know, really wanted to care about young people and help them, who believed in Christianity, and they wanted young people to connect with God and go on to live great lives and to make the world a better place. And so the school has done a lot of terrific things over the years. Now, the school's been in trouble the last couple of years. Maybe you've caught hints of it when I was talking, but there's been tough times at Multnomah. We've had 2 very difficult financial years. So difficult that we were a little bit nervous about, maybe is this school gonna close? Like, you know, like being a few $1 million in the red kind of thing. And so the school is obviously very concerned about this too, and they're like, well, what are we going to do? And so you maybe have noticed in the old videos, I said we're going to start spending more time in France, and that was kind of strategic. I couldn't say everything about the school because it was sensitive at that point. I wasn't allowed to say anything, but I knew that we were in trouble, and so I thought, well, let's at least kind of start to plan a backup plan in case the school goes under. And so thankfully the school has not gone under, but there's bad news, guys. I told you that we got an email from our very nice boss, former boss, Dr. Fancher, saying we need to move out of the house, which is a bummer, but I thought, oh well, at least we have a few months to get out of there. And then just this week, I got another email from another very nice boss who said, there's a big announcement coming on Tuesday for this school. And so of course we were nervous. What's it gonna be? Is the school gonna merge? Are we shutting down? Are they letting go of faculty? What's gonna happen? And not great sleeps coming up to that. But Tuesday arrived, and I did get a call, and they said, hey, come on in. And they told me a couple of announcements. So good news, bad news, mostly good news for the school, bad news for Leslie and me. Good news for the school is merging. We're being taken over, is that the right word? Acquired? It's a merger of mission, I think they're calling it, by a bigger school in Northern California, William Jessup, who I'm told is a very good school and has a similar ethos and mission statement. They're also a Christian school, a little bit bigger than us, a little bit healthier than us probably. And so they are going to acquire our campus and the school. And the good news is they're going to keep most of our students and most of our staff and faculty, but with the merger, there's redundancies, and there's also programs they don't want to do. By the way, is that Mr. Bubs? There, Mr. Bubs gets his haircut today. I'll try to get a shot of it because everybody loves Mr. Bubs. So, there's going to be redundancies. They're going to let people go. They had to let 40 people go a couple of months ago. We're only 150 in the school, and now they have to let another 20 go. And unfortunately for me, they're closing the program that I teach. So that means as of December 31st, my position doesn't exist anymore. So that's tough news for my students. And it's tough news for us. It's not complete surprise. We knew the school was in trouble. We were sort of planning for the worst case scenarios. We still have about 20 students in my departments, and so I hurt for them a little bit. And of course, it's scary for us. I won't lie. It is difficult because we've put almost 20 years into this school, and we really worked hard in the early years, especially for the school. We love it. We love the kids. We believe in it. And so it is tough to have that time come to an end. And we're humans. We're not immune to, when you get let go or something like that bad happens, you're tempted to have nasty thoughts. Or what happens, and I'm going to speak figuratively here, metaphorically, is the evil one. He like whispers in your ear. He tries to make you bitter and angry. But man, that's not helpful. It's not helpful because he'll tell you stuff, and it's really hard to ignore him, because a lot of the things he says are true. Like he might say, oh, you don't deserve this, or this is unfair, and all these things. But the problem is, if you listen to him, it'll destroy you, and it will eat you like a cancer. It will turn you bitter. And so you have to fight it. You have to fight that, and you have to just stay positive. And this is, by the way, true of a job. This is true of a marriage. This is true of relationship with your children. This is just true in life. You, at least, again, I'm coming from a Christian worldview here. It's all about forgiveness. The only way to find freedom is to forgive and to let go. Doesn't mean you don't have a good right to be angry. So anyways, people have been really encouraging. We've had hundreds of encouraging emails. Obviously, we're nervous. If you know our journey, you'll know that Chateau owners all come to this kind of thing with different intentions and different backgrounds. There's some folks that are really quite strong financially, that this is a hobby or kind of a nice retirement project. Some are entrepreneurs and they're trying to start a business. And then we're trying to start this nonprofit, and we have been, to this point, we've had to be tent makers, or we've chosen to be tent makers. Again, that's a Christian term for folks that have a regular job, and they use the money from the regular job to support what they're trying to do. They're trying to make the world better in some way. Maybe it's dudes in Africa who are starting a hospital or bringing food to folks. Maybe it's people telling the news about Christianity to folks that have never heard it. And maybe in our case, it's education. We're caring for young people. And so to this point, we've done that with my big $50,000 or whatever it is, $55,000 salary from Multnomah. And but that's going away. So it's a little nerve-wracking. It's a little nerve-wracking, but we really, and again, I'm going to talk Christian here, just so there's your trigger warning in case you don't like religious talk. We're religious people. There's no way we can hide this. The whole way through, this has been a faith thing for us. We believe in God, and we believe that He cares for us, and we believe that we're doing important work, and He has been incredible to us. Guys, have I given you enough bad news? Are you ready for some good news? Because we have good news too. We really do. So first of all, we're moving out to France. We're going to be out there 11 months of the year. We're going to have time to fix up the chateau. We're going to have more sessions. We have a great school from Canada, Trinity Western University, who's going to bring students out for an MBA program for 2 weeks, and those funds are going to help us. We're running 2 sessions, each with 25 students. One May and June and one September to November, and both are full. We've had 59 applications. Isn't that incredible? So we're full of students. They're a great bunch. Our staff is coming together. Of course, we're all volunteer staff still, but we have a fantastic group. So the ministry is going to be great. Our time in France is going to be great. I was sitting with students, and they were all feeling bad for me. Everybody was feeling a little glum and a little embarrassed. We were sitting around the circle, and I was talking about, I'm like, guys, this is all right. I'm like, our life is not bad. You don't have to feel bad for us. I'm going to France for 11 months. We're going to live in our castle. We're going to come back for 1 month to see our kids, and I'm going to go stay at our beach house. Our life is good. God, it's going to be a little scary financially. We might lose a bunch of money. I don't know. But our life has never been about money. And so I'm not completely worried if we lose the money. We still have the beach house. I'll put some shots of the beautiful beach house in here. We still have the beach house that'll give us a little bit of rental income. We get $1,000 or $2,000 every month usually for that. So that gives us a little bit of spending money. We have very few expenses when we're in France outside of the Chateau. Chateau's brutal. But the Chateau will try to pay for that. With the nonprofit has in case you're wondering, the nonprofit has a 10-year lease with us, and we lease it for free. We don't take any money for the Chateau. We don't have a work visa in France, so we can't take money in France. But we lend the Chateau to the nonprofit so that the students can come. But on the upside, the nonprofit covers the expenses. Like if something breaks, they got it. And if we want to buy a couch for the students, you know, they pay for that, and they pay for the food and that kind of stuff. So we don't have a ton of expenses. We can live cheap. We're gonna be okay. We're debating raising funds. In the Christian world, a lot of missionaries will raise funds, and it's legitimate. I'm not, you know, there's even Bible verses like, it's okay to take a salary for doing good work. Everybody in a nonprofit does it. We're a little bit rare, and unfortunately we might have to. I'm kind of bummed about it, although friends have been like, you know, this is maybe a good thing. It gives people a chance to be involved and support you. We've actually had some friends write and say, hey, we'd like to support, which is super encouraging. I'm pretty free talking about money and stuff. It's just my nature. I'm not a very guarded person, so do with that what you will. But I think we don't need much. Like, I think if we take a salary, and we may not yet, but if we need to take a salary to run the nonprofit. What's up, Stan? That's one of my dudes, one of my students. I wish you could have saw that. He's got a van. He's got a contracting business. Too bad he's not in France, man. He can come over. He's a great guy. Stan, by the way. I should pump you. Yeah. No, you guys probably don't live in Portland. You're not going to get business. He's doing good. If we take a salary, I think it will only be I've maybe pitched to the board minimum wage, like literally Oregon minimum wage, $15 an hour. I think it's $30,000 a year-ish. That'd be enough for us. So I'll stop talking about money. Okay, so here's the good news. We're going to France. We're gonna do a lot more videos. We'll probably try to get active on Patreon. Patreon's been great. We get, I think, $500 or $600 a month from Patreon. That helps us too. Get a few hundred from YouTube. So all these things help. We haven't done much on Patreon, so it's mostly been a labor of love for people. Having said that, Leslie did make, again this year, beautiful postcards of the Grifferaie that she's going to send out to all our Patreon people. Thank you guys for your support. It's more helpful now than ever, but it's always been helpful. No lies. Also, by the way, beautiful thing about Patreon. Again, you know, $500-600 a month. So we're not like Stephanie or some of the ones that have huge amounts. But our biggest Patreon givers, pretty much all of our biggest Patreon givers, this is beautiful and also humbling, are all 20 something, like former college students who came with us on the program. Several of them support us on the biggest level. It's humbling, it's beautiful. I'm deeply thankful for them, you know, because I mean, they don't have big money jobs, but they believe in what we're doing. I'm gonna get emotional. It's super cool. I'm almost embarrassed to thank them, honestly, but you guys are awesome, and thank you. Yeah, so this is the good news section, right? The good news section. We're going back to France. We're gonna shoot more videos. The other nice thing is, every time we've been in France, it's been kind of like we have enough time to get stuff ready. Like the session's always coming in 2 weeks, and so we're trying to finish a bathroom, and it's been like gun to your head, move faster. It's been stressful. You know, we work long days out there, and now we're gonna be out there all the time. We got time to slow down a bit. Like we can take evenings off, and maybe even weekends. At least Sunday. You know, we can, if I can try to convince Leslie to take 2 days off in a row, we'll see. But you know, we could take some time off. I mean, theoretically, we could even take a vacation and see Spain or something. We usually don't have time for that. So it's really thankful for that. We do believe God's going to take care of us. Other good news. I told you there's more good news. So I did get the visa from the US, from France, so I can stay all year, which is great. And they have not done Leslie's, but they're writing me back on it, so that's good news. The city of Portland wrote us back and said, yeah, we made a mistake. You're not doing business. We're going to drop the whole thing. So that's great. That one's taken care of. The IRS is moving. We'll get the French taxes figured out. So many people have been encouraging and said kind words to us. And then also, what's the other good news? We've got a good plan in place. We're going to sell both our cars. We're probably going to sell them to our kids so that they can benefit. We'll give them a really good deal. We're going to give our kids a bunch of our furniture. We have a container coming. We're really hoping the school will let us stay until January at least to get our container packed so we can ship that off to France. So we're going to have more stuff, we don't have to throw out all our stuff, which is great. And there's more good news. What is it? Oh yeah. We also were contacted by a church from Seattle, a couple of churches actually, and they said, hey, we want to help you guys out, and they're going to bring a group, maybe 20 of them, and they're going to come out to the Chateau, and they maybe want to take on the roof of the stables. Now, I don't know if we can afford the wood, I didn't ask them to pay for it. I don't, I'm going to see how much it costs. I don't know if we can afford it or not, but at the very least we can demo the old one and get a good tarp on it. So that's great. They're coming in July. We also had a school from Canada, Trinity Western University, say that they're going to come out and run a program, a 2 weeks MBA program. And so that's good revenue for the school. That's great news. So, I mean, all this said, guys, we're going to be okay. Leslie's there. She found a person to clear the trees. That's good news. And then let's close with this, the roof. Unless I can think of something, I'll add it on. The roof, guys, the roof is looking beautiful. Like, take a look. Here's a picture. Isn't this great? They're coming. They're around the back now. They're gonna finish, I think, maybe even in December. We'll see. But I think they'll finish this year or early next year. So the house is getting roofed. We're heading out to France. We're gonna be okay. Appreciate all your kind words and your support. Okay, now hopefully this is not too much of an abrupt change to the video. When I was kind of working through everything, difficult news is always tough to digest. I started thinking about it, and I made myself a list. I made a list of things that are good about this and things that are bad about this. And honestly, guys, there are both. There are things that are bad about this. Like, it's going to be a bummer to be away from our kids more of the year if we're only around 1 month a year. That's going to be a bummer, and it's going to be hard to figure out vehicles because you don't want to keep a vehicle if you don't need it all year. So that's going to be tricky. Getting our stuff to France is going to be tricky. Not having a salary is going to be tricky. That's scary. I used to kind of enjoy looking at the bank account and I'm like, hey, we're doing okay. Now I'm like, I don't even want to look, but I mean, I know we're going to be okay. There's other bad things. I'm gonna, hey, what's up? Look, my man, Derek Chin, I gotta stop the video. But on my list of bad things and good things, there are actually tons of good things. Tons and tons of good things. For one, we're gonna be in France. We get to live in the Chateau 11 months of the year. I mean, that's incredible. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful country. There's wonderful food. That's going to be super fun. We don't have to have 3 houses anymore. It's tricky to go between. It sounds bad, but you got the problems of each one that you got to take care of. So I'm really excited to only have 2 to worry about. That's less stressful. We don't have to have as much rain. Sorry, Portland. And while I'm talking about Portland, we will no longer have homeless people trying to get into the house in the middle of the night. It's not the best area. In fact, the other day, you can watch the video here. We actually had a gentleman who was maybe not doing real well mentally. He started to pretend teach a class, and he was trying to teach a class with using our van, or my daughter's van, as the blackboard. So he was writing on the van, and then he would be teaching, and then he would turn around and get mad at an imaginary student. It was a little bit troubling. So we eventually called security, and it's really nice. 2 guys came, 2 of our young security guys came. They were at a sports practice, so they weren't in uniform, but they tried to help him get him go. Eventually the police came and arrested him, actually. He did vandalize the car a bit, but we got her clean. He was writing a lot of weird stuff about Satan, which is always, a little disconcerting. But it's nice not to have to worry about that kind of thing. In France, you got 25 acres, we got all that space, we got big fence. Our neighbors are awesome. Man, there's so many good things. There's so many good things. And yeah, stay with us for this journey. We're going to start shooting those once a day videos in December, and it should be a ton of fun. Thank you guys all so much for coming with us and hearing our story. We'll see you later. Okay, as we get to the end of this video, I wanted to remind us all why we're doing this. I was watching the internet the other day, and I noticed that one of our students, Twila, had made a video, I think on Instagram, of highlights from the year, and it was so great. I thought, I'm going to add it here. Now, YouTube will take away our copyright if we leave the music in, so I'm going to take the music out. If you want to watch it, I'm going to upload it and put a link to the full video with music. You should just enjoy it because it's fun with music. Okay, thanks for coming.